Pack your things and go back to your village. You and that stomach are now useless to me. Ngozi is everything you can never be. Get out of my house now." Those were the words Chidi spoke as he pointed at the door. His new woman, Ngozi, stood behind him wearing Amara's gold earrings. The same earrings her grandmother gave her before she died. Amara felt her stomach tighten with pain. The baby was coming. The rain was falling hard outside. She could barely stand. "Chidi, please. The baby is coming now. Just call my sister. Please." He laughed. A cold, terrible laugh that cut deeper than any knife. Then he pushed her bags into the rain and slammed the door shut. Amara heard them laughing inside. She heard Ngozi say something about finally getting rid of the village girl. The pain in her belly grew stronger. She fell to her knees in the mud. The streets of Lagos were dark and wet. Water filled the gutters and ran like rivers down the roads. Amara tried to walk, but her legs shook. She tried to stop a yellow bus, but the driver shouted at her, "I cannot carry a woman with pregnant woman. What if you were born inside my motor?" He drove away fast, splashing dirty water on her wrapper. People walked past her. Some looked, some took out their phones and recorded videos. But nobody stopped to help. One woman pulled her child away like Amara was sick with something bad. A young man laughed and said, "This one go trend on Instagram today." The world had turned its back on her just like her husband had. The contractions came faster now. Each one felt like her body was being torn apart. She thought about Daniel back in the warm house with Ngozi. She thought about how he promised to love her forever. How he held her hand on their wedding day and swore before God and their families that nothing would separate them. All lies. All empty words that disappeared like smoke. "I cannot do this alone. I cannot." The words came out as a whisper. Rain mixed with her tears. Her knees hit the ground again. This time, she could not get up. The baby was coming whether she was ready or not, whether anyone helped her or not. She was completely alone in the middle of the city with millions of people. Then she heard a voice. "Omomi, my daughter, what is happening to you?" Amara looked up. An old woman stood over him, holding a small umbrella. She wore a white garment from church, and her eyes were kind. The woman knelt in the mud, not caring about her clothes getting dirty. She wrapped her own wrapper around Amara. "My name is Mama Jide. I am taking you to the hospital now. You are not alone anymore." Those words, simple words, but they felt like water in a desert. Mama Jide called her nephew, who drove a keke, and together they lifted Amara inside. The old woman held her hand all the way to the hospital. She prayed in Yoruba. She spoke words of strength. She told Amara that women are like the baobab tree. We bend in the storm, but we never break. Before we continue with what happened at the hospital, kindly subscribe to this channel. Drop a comment telling us where you are watching from. And tell us if you have ever been betrayed by someone you trusted with your whole heart. Your story matters. You are not alone. The hospital was full of noise and people. Nurses ran from room to room. Women screamed. Babies cried. But when Mama Jide explained what happened, the midwives gathered around Amara. One of them, a young Igbo woman, held her hand. "We will take care of your sister. You are safe now." The pain was worse than anything Amara had ever felt. Worse than hunger. Worse than heartbreak. Her body pushed and pushed. She screamed until her voice was gone. Hours passed like years. And then, finally, she heard it. A cry. Small and angry and beautiful. Her son. They placed him on her chest. His tiny face was red. His eyes were closed tight. But when she whispered, "Mommy is here," his crying stopped. In that moment, lying weak and exhausted on that hospital bed, Amara made a promise. For this child, she would survive anything. For him, she would rise from the ashes of her old life and become something new. She named him Chibueze. God is king. Because even when the world treated her like trash, God had given her this perfect gift. 3 days later, Her parents came to the hospital. Chief and Lolo Okonkwo walked in wearing expensive clothes and cold faces. They looked at the baby like it was a problem to solve. They looked at Amara like she had brought shame to their family name. So it is true. You have given birth. Her mother's voice was sharp like broken glass. Yes, Mama. His name is Chibueze. Amara held her son closer. Her father did not even smile. You have disgraced your Samara. First, you married that useless man against our wishes. Now you are here alone with a bastard child. What will people say about the Okonkwo family? The word bastard hit Amara like a slap. She felt anger rise in her chest. Do not call my son that name. Her mother moved closer. We have brought papers for you to sign. Custody papers. We will raise the boy in our house in Enugu. He will have the best schools, the best life. You cannot give him anything. Sign the papers, and maybe we will forgive you for this mess you created. Amara's hands began to shake. Her parents wanted to take her baby, the only thing she had left in the world. For years, she had been the obedient daughter, the one who stayed quiet, the one who did what she was told. But something had changed inside her the night Chidi threw her into the rain. Something hard and unbreakable had formed in her heart. No. Her voice was quiet but firm. He's mine. I will not sign anything. Her father's face turned red with anger. You are nothing without you as Amara. You have no money, no house, no education, nothing. That child will suffer because of your stupid pride. Then I will build something. I will walk. I will fight. But I will never give away my son. Her mother's eyes flashed with rage. You will regret this rebellion. You are nothing. You hear me? Nothing. Without our name, without our money, you will die in poverty. And when you come crawling back, we will not open our door. They left. Their expensive shoes are clicking on the hospital floor. The door closed. A.N. Amara was alone again with Chibueze. She looked down at his sleeping face and whispered, I promise, you, my son, we will not just survive. We will rise. 6 months passed like a difficult dream. Amara found a small room in Ajegule. The compound was crowded and noisy. 10 families shared one bathroom. The walls were thin. At night, she could hear her neighbors fighting and laughing and cooking and praying. But it was home. Every morning before the sun came up, Amara would strap Chibueze to her back with a wrapper. She would mix beans and grind them to make akara. She would fry the bean cakes by the roadside and sell them to people going to work. Her hands got burned from the hot oil. Her back ached from carrying the baby all day. But she smiled at every customer. She counted every naira like it was gold. In the afternoon, she would do sewing work for the market women. She learned to fix clothes fast. She learned to bargain. She learned to stretch 100 naira until it fed them for 2 days. The other women in the compound helped her. Mama Riska, the Hausa woman, gave her leftover rice. Brother Emeka, the mechanic, fixed things in her room for free. Mama Jide came every Sunday with food and prayers and encouragement. This was her village now. Not the wealthy family that rejected her, not the husband who threw her away, but these ordinary people who had little but shared everything. They taught her that wealth is not always money. Sometimes, wealth is a neighbor who brings you food when your baby is sick. Sometimes, wealth is knowing you are not alone. Late at night, after Chibueze fell asleep, Amara would sit by the small window. She would look at the stars and remember her grandmother Une. The old woman had lived alone in the village. People called her stubborn. They said she was too proud, too difficult. But Ene had always told Amara one thing. My child, you have the blood of warriors in you. When the world pushes you down, remember the Iroko tree. Its roots go deep. Nothing can make it fall. Amara would whisper to her sleeping son. Your great-grandmother was right. We have deep roots. They threw us away, but we are still standing. One day, my son, they will see just how strong we have become. She did not know that in a lawyer's office in Victoria, Island documents sat waiting with her name on them. She did not know that her grandmother Annie had left her a secret worth $50 million, a secret that would change everything. But that discovery was coming, and when it arrived, it would turn her world upside down in the most unexpected way. One Tuesday morning, Amara was frying akara when a big black Mercedes pulled up to her compound. Children playing football stopped and stared. Market women whispered. A man in a fine agbada stepped out carrying a briefcase. He looked around at the narrow streets, the open gutters, the crowded buildings. Then he asked for Amara Okonkwo. I am Amara. She wiped her hands on her wrapper, suddenly feeling shy about her old clothes. The man smiled kindly. My name is Barrister Adeleke. I have been looking for you for many weeks. Can we talk somewhere private? They sat in her small room. Chibueze played on the floor with a toy car made from wire and bottle caps. The lawyer opened his briefcase and pulled out papers. What he said next made Amara's head spin. Your grandmother, Ezine Okonkwo, passed away 6 months ago. I was her lawyer for 40 years. She left everything to you. $50 million, houses in Lagos, Abuja, and London. Shares in companies, land, everything. You are now a very wealthy woman. Amara could not breathe, could not speak. Ne? Grandmother, who lived in that small village house. The woman, her parents said, was half mad. Barrister Adeleke smiled. Your grandmother was one of the wisest women I ever knew. She built her wealth quietly. She bought land when nobody wanted it. She invested in palm oil and real estate. She trusted no one with her money. And she watched her family closely. He pulled out an envelope with Amara's name written in earnest, shaky handwriting. She left you this letter. The lawyer handed it to her with gentle hands. Amara's fingers trembled as she opened it. Inside was her grandmother's voice speaking from beyond the grave. My dear Amara, if you are reading this, then I am gone. I watched you marry that foolish man. I saw how your parents treated you like property. I knew one day you would face fire, so I made you wait. I told Barrister not to find you until you had suffered enough, until you had proven you could stand in the storm without anyone's help. Now you are ready. This money is yours. But remember, the wealth is not what makes you strong. You were strong before you knew about this money. Never forget that. Build your life, help others, and teach the great-grandson that we bow to no one. Tears poured down Amara's face. Ne had known. She had seen everything, and she had waited until Amara learned to fight before giving her the weapons to win. But Barrister Adeleke held up his hand. There is one condition. Your grandmother was very clear. You must not tell anyone about this money yet. For 1 year, you must continue living as you are. Build something with your own hands first. Start a business. Prove to yourself that you do not need this money to survive. Only then will you be ready to handle such wealth without it destroying you. If you are watching the story and it is touching your heart right now, please like this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear that broken seasons do not last forever. Comment and tell us what lesson Amara's story is teaching you, because your engagement helps this message reach more people who are fighting their own storms. Amara agreed with her grandmother's wisdom. For the next 2 years, she worked harder than ever before. But now, she had a secret weapon. She could take small amounts from the inheritance to invest wisely. She opened a small fabric shop. It grew into a boutique. She bought land in areas that were developing. She hired other single mothers to work for her. She went to business school at night with Chibueze strapped to her back. The other students would laugh at first. A woman with a baby trying to learn business? But when she topped the class, they stopped laughing. When her boutique became 3 boutiques, they started asking for advice. When she bought a plot of land that tripled in value, they wanted to know her secret. Amara never told them about the inheritance. She lived modestly. She still stayed in Ajegunle, though now she could have moved to Ikoyi. She wanted to remember where she came from. She wanted Chibueze to grow up knowing that money does not make you better than anyone else. Mama Jide watched her grow with proud eyes. That old woman who had stopped in the rain now became like a second mother. Amara bought herself a house, set up a trust fund for her, made her Chibueze's godmother. Because she never forgot that when the world walked past, Mama Jide stopped and helped. Meanwhile, across the city, Chidi's life was falling apart like a house built on sand. Ngoz, the woman he left Amara for at Dexensi Bay, she wanted new cars, designer bags, trips to Dubai. Chidi spent all his money trying to make her happy. Then he discovered she was using his money to take care of another man, a younger, richer man who drove a Range Rover. When he confronted her, he faced, "You thought I loved you? I loved your money. And now that your money is finished, I am finished with you, too." She packed her bags and left him with nothing but debt and shame. His business collapsed. The big contract he was depending on went to another company. He did not know that the company was secretly owned by Amara. His landlord threw him out. His friends disappeared. The same people who used to praise him now crossed the street when they saw him coming. One evening, broken and desperate, Chidi went to Amara's parents' house. He thought maybe they would help him find her. When Chief Okonkwo opened the door, Chidi fell to his knees. "Please, sir, I made a terrible mistake. I need to find Amara. I need to beg her. I want to see my son." Chief Okonkwo looked down at him with disgust. "Get up, you foolish man. We do not know where that girl is. She disgraced us and disappeared. Even if we knew, we would not tell you. You are the reason our family name is dirty. Now get out before I call security." The door slammed. Chidi stood on the street alone, just like Amara had stood in the rain that terrible night, but nobody came to help him. Nobody offered him an umbrella. He had thrown away something precious, and now he had nothing. 2 years after that rainy night, Amara stood in front of a mirror in her new office building. She wore a beautiful Ankara dress designed by one of the women she employed. Her natural hair was styled in elegant braids. She looked at her reflection and barely recognized herself. Not because she had changed on the outside, but because her eyes held something they never had before: power, confidence, peace. Today was the grand opening of her 5th boutique, the biggest one yet, located in Victoria Island, where rich people shopped. News reporters were coming, business partners, government officials. It was time to step fully into the life her grandmother had prepared for her. The event was beautiful. People who had never noticed her before now wanted to take pictures with her. They called her a self-made entrepreneur, a role model for young women. They asked how she did it. She simply smiled and said, "I learned to stand in the rain until I was strong enough to make my own sunshine." Then she saw him, Chidi, standing at the back of the crowd, looking thin and worn. Their eyes met across the room. He looked away first. Shame was written all over his face. After the speech and the photos, he approached her carefully, like someone approaching a wild animal. "Amara, is it really you? You look so different, so successful. I have been looking for you. For our son, I made a terrible mistake, the worst mistake of my life. Please, can we talk?" Amara looked at the man who had thrown her into the rain, the man who had chosen another woman over his pregnant wife. She felt nothing, no anger, no love, just a quiet calm. "His name is Chibueze, and he's doing very well without you. He's happy, he's healthy, he's loved. You threw us away when we had nothing. Now we have everything. And you want to come back?" Chidi's eyes filled with tears. "I know I do not deserve forgiveness. I was blinded by foolishness. Ngozi destroyed me. My business failed. I lost everything. And every day I remember what I did to you. Please, Amara, let me be in my son's life. I have changed. Amara shook her head slowly. You did not change, Chidi. Life changed you. You only want us now because you have nowhere else to go. If you still had money, if Ngoziweres were still there, you would not even remember my name. So no, you cannot just walk back into our lives because yours fell apart. She paused, then her voice became softer, but no less firm. But I will tell you this. When Chibueze is old enough to ask about his father, I will tell him the truth. All of it. The good and the bad. And if he wants to know you, then I will not stop him. But that will be his choice. Not yours. Not mine. His. Chidi opened his mouth to argue, but something in Amara's eyes stopped him. This was not the weak woman he had thrown away. This was someone completely new, someone he no longer had power over. He nodded slowly and walked away, his shoulders bent with defeat. That night, Chief and Lulu Okonkwo saw their daughter on the evening news. The reporter called her one of Lagos's most successful young entrepreneurs. The camera showed her boutiques, her office building, her charitable foundation for single mothers. Her parents sat frozen on their leather couch, watching the television in shock. That cannot be our Amara. That useless girl? It is impossible. But it was possible. And when they showed up at her office 2 days later, wearing fake smiles and bringing gifts for their grandson, Amara was ready for them. Our daughter, we are so proud of you. We always knew you'd make us proud. Come home. Bring Chibueze. Let us be a family again. Amara sat behind her desk, looking at the two people who had called her son a bastard, who had tried to take him away from her, who had closed their door when she needed help. You wanted nothing to do with me when I was selling akara by the roadside. You called my son terrible names. You told me I was nothing. Now you see success and you want to claim it? No, I built this with my own hands. I am somebody because I decided to be, not because you finally approved. Her father's face turned red with anger, the way it always did when someone defied him. You ungrateful child. After everything we did for you, we raised you, we gave you life. Amara stood up, her voice steady and strong. You gave me birth. That is true. But Mama Jide gave me life. The women in Ajegunle gave me life. My son gave me life. You gave me nothing but pain and rejection when I needed you most. So now I owe you nothing. We are still your parents. Her mother's voice shook. And I am still your daughter. I will not disrespect you. But I will also not pretend that you were there when it mattered. You can meet Chibueze if you want, but you will never control him or me. Those days are over. Her parents left angry and humiliated, but Amara felt no guilt. She had spoken her truth. She had set herself free from their control, and it felt like breathing fresh air after being underwater for years. That evening, Amara drove back to Ajegunle. Even though she now had houses in better neighborhoods, she still kept her room there. She still visited the compound where people helped her when she had nothing. She brought food. She paid school fees for children whose parents struggled. She hired young people from the area to work in her businesses. Mama Jide sat outside her new house watching children play. When she saw Amara, she smiled widely, showing missing teeth. My daughter, come sit with me. They sat together as the sun set over Lagos, painting the sky orange and purple. Chibueze ran around playing with other children, his laughter loud and free. Mama Jide took Amara's hand. You have done well, my child. Better than anyone expected. But tell me, are you happy? Amara thought about the question. She had money now, success, respect. She had proven everyone wrong. But was she happy? I am proud, Mama. I am strong. I am free. And I am grateful. I think that is better than happy. Happiness comes and goes like the weather. But strength stays. Mama Jide nodded wisely. You have learned what many people never learn. That true wealth is not what you own. It is who you become. The rain washed away the weak woman you used to be, and what remained was iron. Before this story ends, we want to hear from you. Have you ever been thrown away by people you loved? Have you ever risen from rock bottom to prove everyone wrong? Drop your story in the comments. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if the story touched you, please share it. Because somewhere right now, another Amara is standing in the rain, wondering if she will survive. Let this be the message that tells her yes, you will not only survive, you will rise. 5 years passed like pages turning in a book. Chibueze grew into a smart, curious boy who asks questions about everything. Amara's businesses expanded across Nigeria and into Ghana. Her foundation helped hundreds of single mothers start their own businesses. She became known not just for her success, but for her kindness. One day, a reporter asked her what advice she would give to women who are going through betrayal and hardship. Amara looked at the camera and spoke from her heart. I would tell her this: the day they throw you away is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your real life. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, it will feel like you are dying. But you are not dying. You are being reborn. And when you come back, and you will come back, you'll be someone they no longer recognize, someone they cannot control, someone they cannot break. So stand in the rain, sister. Let it wash away the old you. And when you finally rise, you will be unstoppable. The video went viral. Millions of views. Thousands of comments from women all over Africa and beyond. Women who had been abandoned, betrayed, thrown away. They all said the same thing. This is my story. Thank you for telling me. On a quiet Sunday morning, Amara took Chibueze to visit Enne's grave in the village. She had built a beautiful monument there. Fresh flowers always decorated it. She knelt and placed her hand on the stone. Thank you, Une. You saw something in me that I could not see in myself. You made me wait until I was strong enough to carry this blessing. I hope I am making you proud. Chibueze put his small hand on his mother's shoulder. Mommy, why are you crying? Amara wiped her tears and smiled. Because your great-grandmother loved us even when we did not know it. And because sometimes, tears are how we say thank you for blessings too big for words. As they walked back to the car hand in hand, Amara looked up at the sky. The clouds were grey with the promise of rain. But she was not afraid of rain anymore. She had learned that storms do not come to destroy you. They come to show you how strong you really are. And somewhere in Lagos, Chidi watched that same sky and wondered what his life would have been if he had chosen differently. If he had opened the door instead of slamming it shut. If he had loved instead of betrayed. But some choices cannot be undone. Some doors once closed never open again. The woman he threw into the rain had become the woman whose shadow he could never escape. And that was a justice more powerful than any revenge. Because Amara did not need to destroy him. His own choices had done that already. She simply rose above it all and kept climbing higher. This is the story of a woman who was thrown away and became priceless. A woman who lost everything and gained herself. A woman who stood in the rain until she learned to make her own sunshine. And if you're standing in your own rain right now, you remember her story. Remember that the storm does not last forever. And when it passes, you will not be the same person who entered it. You will be stronger, wiser, unbreakable. Subscribe to this channel if you believe in the power of rising after falling. Like if this story touched your soul. Comment and tell us what you learned. Because every view, every like, every share helps another broken person find hope. And hope is what keeps us alive when everything else is trying to kill us. The end is only the beginning of something greater.